Today we have another talking book record player. This is the model A79, and this particular one has a little bit of sentimental meaning to me because whenever I was a kid, most of the people that I knew who were using the talking book program at the time had this particular record player. And in 1995, I went to the state rehab for the blind for some training, and they actually still had these record players in some of the dorm rooms for the patrons to check out talking book records and listen to them. Yeah, pretty soon I'm going to have the entire line of these particular players that use this type of case design. I think the first one was the model A72, the last one was the model A80, and each one was in a different case color. This plays 8, 16, and 33 RPM, the standard talking book speeds. And here's the sticker in the lid showing that this was repaired by the Telephone Pioneers of America in 1992. The Telephone Pioneers were a volunteer organization who repaired talking book, cassette, and record machines for the Library of Congress talking book program. Now everything's pretty much gone to digital cartridges, so I don't know what part the Telephone Pioneers still play in the repair program, but you know, for several decades they were the ones who repaired the talking book machines. Another interesting fact is most of these machines that I get, the turntable mat, which is just a foam rubber pad, is totally disintegrated. Well, this one's not in A1 shape, but it's in better shape than any that I found recently. In fact, I suspect this was probably what was repaired on this machine in '92 whenever it was worked on. And the cartridge appears to still be good. However, this thing's been sitting up probably for 20 years, so needs a little work now. You see on 8 RPM it took a second to get started, and all I have to do is just barely hold my hand on the turntable rim and it stops. Let's see if we get anything out of here.
IRS Tax Advice. It ain't necessarily sound, by Robert S. Holtzman. Why Not Run, by Vic Ziegel and Louis Grossberger. Death Watch, by B.A. Clifton.
Hear a little static in the controls.
Side 3, Death Watch.
So they need to be cleaned.
In these United States. Conversations with Outer Space.
So yeah, this needs a mechanical overhaul, and it's just some basic service, and it ought to be good to go again. Okay, I have the platter removed, and as you can see, it uses it's pretty much standard drive mechanism. I can tell the lubrication in this center bearing assembly, spindle assembly, has dried out, and all this will need to be cleaned and re-lubricated. As someone's already suggested, that since I've been making videos on so many record players lately that I changed my name to Phono Nut. But you know, I'll get back to doing some radios and other things soon, but you know, I promised Shango 066 that I would play something for him, and I want to fulfill that promise in the near future. So since this machine has 33 RPM speed, then I can play what it is that I told him I'd play. But first we need to get it working right, so let's open this thing up and overhaul it. Okay, here's the underside. We have a nice 4-pole motor, which is pretty much standard on these machines. There's our little integrated circuit-based amplifier. Here's our automatic stop mechanism that stops the turntable motor when the tone arm reaches the end of the record. And even though the model number of this machine indicates it's from the 1979 model year, the date code on the motor is actually the 6th week of 1980. So that means this machine was probably built early in 1980, but before the 1980 fiscal year. There was one more machine after this, the model A80, and then there were no new machines made until the early 90s when the A1 came out. But by that time, talking book records were pretty much on their way out anyway. Here's our spindle. You can see the old lubricant on it is turned to hard gunk, so we'll clean that off with the contact cleaner, as well as clean the bearing assembly there, and then we'll use the specially approved lubrication to re-lubricate the thing. Okay, there's the center spindle re-lubricated, and it's turning nice and smoothly now. And as you can see, this lubricant has turned into a hard brown powdery substance. Okay, we have everything put back together except for replacing the platter, and the motor seems to be running good. So let's put the platter back on and give it a test. Okay, there we go. 33, 16, and 8. Got plenty enough grip now.
Says, I hate opera on the front, and with tenor leads.
Okay, there's an 8 RPM record.
Sue Giles in Tucson, Citizen. The T-shirt that outclasses all others in a campus survey was one that read, Disregard Previous T-shirt, contributed by Thomas W. Neist. New Reader's Digest Index available. The Reader's Digest 1978 Index, listing all articles published during the past year, will be sent free to readers requesting it.
Here's a 16 RPM record.
The Braille Technical Press, October 1972. A radio and electronics guide published monthly for the blind by the Braille Technical Press, Incorporated, Robert W. Gunderson, editor. Executive Offices, 980 Waring Avenue, Bronx, New York, 1046.
See, this has an auto stop feature. It gets to the tone arm, it automatically shuts, or when the tone arm gets to the end of the record, it automatically shuts the motor off.
The hot side of the signal generator, 10 volts, goes to the anode of a 1N34A crystal diode with the diode cathode connected to the positive side of a 0 to 1 mA meter circuit.
When you wish to play a 12-inch record, you just turn these record guides back out of the way, and then it will accommodate a 12-inch record. And there were some 12-inch talking book records, mostly older ones, but there were some out there. Here's a 12-inch 33 1/3 RPM talking book. The first talking books were 33 1/3, then 16, then 8.
Page 1 of the John Milton Talking Book Magazine for October 1957. Edited by Dwight C. Smith and read by the editor and Edward J. Waterhouse and Bishop Richard Reeves, with recordings of music from Ceylon and from New York City. Published quarterly by the John Milton Society, 160 Fifth Avenue, New York 10, New York. This magazine is sent free on request to any blind person, with the understanding that it shall not be used for general public playing or broadcasting. When received on loan from regional libraries for the blind, these records are to be returned according to...
Okay, here you go, Shango 066.